The Galactic Assembly Hall stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystalline floor, its domed ceiling displaying the swirling nebulous of the Andromeda sector. Representatives from 400 civilizations sat in their designated pods, their various forms of communication devices humming with translations across 1,000 languages. At the central podium, the consensus speaker, a towering Valkyrian with 6 eyes and silvered scales, raised its primary appendage for silence. "The motion stands," the speaker announced, its voice reverberating through every translator. "Humanity's request for military expansion rights is denied. Furthermore, all human vessels must withdraw from contested border zones within 10 rotations." In the human delegation pod, Zuni Reeves felt her jaw tighten. She was young for a human ambassador, barely 32 Earth years, but her dark eyes held the weight of representing 8 billion souls, spread across 15 colony worlds. Beside her, Commander Massey Chen sat perfectly still, his military dress uniform immaculate, his expression carved from stone. "They're doing it again," Zuni whispered, her fingers gripping the armrest. "Treating us like children." Massey's voice was barely audible. "Protocol, Ambassador. We follow protocol. Round them." The assembly erupted in what passed for applause among the various species, clicking mandibles, flashing bioluminescence, harmonic tones. The Vexians, insectoid beings who controlled the richest trade routes, practically vibrated with satisfaction. The crystalline Solarites chimed in harmony. Even the normally neutral void walkers seemed pleased. Zuni stood, her movement triggering the attention of every species in the hall. The traditional human suit she wore, navy blue with gold trim, seemed almost primitive compared to the exotic attire of other delegates. She activated her translation collar. "We acknowledge the Assembly's decision," Zuni said, her voice steady despite the fury building in her chest. "However, I must ask the Assembly to reconsider. The Kreth swarm has attacked 3 of our mining outposts in the past month alone. 73 humans are dead. We need—" "The Kreth conflict is a regional matter," interrupted the Vexian Prime Delegate, its mandibles clicking dismissively. "Humanity has only been spacefaring for 2 centuries. You lack the perspective for military autonomy." "Perspective?" Massey spoke up, breaking protocol. His voice was ice. "We've been fighting wars for 5,000 years. We understand conflict better than species who've lived in comfortable peace for millennia." A ripple of shock moved through the assembly. Military commanders did not address the council directly. The Valkyrian speaker's eyes fixed on Massey. "Commander Chen, you forget yourself. Humanity's violent history is precisely why this assembly cannot grant you further military rights. You are a dangerous species, still in your infancy of civilization." Zuni felt something crack inside her, the thin veneer of diplomatic patience that she'd maintained for 3 years of constant rejection, condescension, and dismissal. She looked at Massey, and in his eyes, she saw the same realization crystallizing. They were done asking for permission. "I see," Zuni said quietly. She reached into her jacket and withdrew a slim data pad. With deliberate precision, she placed it on the podium in front of her. "Then let me make this abundantly clear. Humanity withdraws from the Galactic Assembly, effective immediately." The hall fell into shocked silence. Such a thing had never happened. No species had ever voluntarily left the assembly. It was unthinkable. The benefits of membership, the trade agreements, the mutual defense pacts, the shared technology leaving meant isolation, vulnerability, death. The consensus speaker's scales rippled with confusion. "Ambassador Reeves, you cannot be serious. Without assembly protection, we will be free," Massey interrupted, standing beside Zuni. "Free to defend our people without asking for permission. Free to expand without bureaucratic delays. Free from being treated like wayward children by civilizations that have forgotten what it means to fight for survival." Zuni continued, her voice growing stronger. "For 3 years, I have come before this assembly. I have pleaded, negotiated, compromised. I have watched good people die while this council debated and delayed. No more." She gathered her materials. "Humanity does not need your permission to exist. We will defend ourselves, with or without your blessing." The Vexian delegate's wings buzzed angrily. "You condemn your species to extinction. The Kreth will devour your colonies. The trade embargoes alone will cripple your economy. You need us." Massey's laugh was sharp and humorless. "Do we? Because from where I'm standing, you've given us nothing but restrictions and patronizing lectures." He pulled up his own data display, projecting it for all to see. "These are the 73 humans who died last month. These are their families. These are the children who won't see their parents again." And while they were dying, this assembly was debating whether humanity had earned the maturity to fire back. Zuni began walking toward the exit, Massey falling into step beside her. Behind them, chaos erupted in the assembly. Delegates shouted in dozens of languages, demanding explanations, threatening consequences, some even pleading for reconsideration. The Valkyrian speaker's voice boomed, "If you leave, there will be sanctions, isolation. You will face the galaxy alone." Zuni paused at the threshold of the Great Hall. She turned, and every being in that vast space fell silent at the expression on her face. Not anger, not fear, but something far more dangerous, absolute certainty. "We've been alone since we joined," she said. "At least now, we'll be honest about it." She and Massey walked through the towering doors, their footsteps echoing in the sudden silence. The human delegation staff followed without hesitation, a river of blue and gold flowing out of the hall. And as they marched down the crystalline corridor toward their ship, not a single human looked back. Behind them, in the assembly hall, the galaxy's representatives watched in something approaching horror, because they suddenly realized what they had failed to understand about humanity. You could cage a species that feared extinction. You could control a civilization that needed you. But you could never control a species that had looked into the abyss 1,000 times throughout their history and had always chosen to fight rather than kneel. The humans were leaving. And for the first time in 10,000 years of galactic civilization, no one knew what came next.